In our video today, we compare two prominent drawing apps in the art space. You have ArtRage and Procreate. Without further ado, let's jump right into the action. Procreate is quite a popular raster graphics editor app available exclusively for portable iOS devices for $9.99 USD. It's used for illustration, basic 2D animation, and 3D model painting. Just like Procreate, ArtRage is a raster graphics editor too. It's available on Windows, Mac OS, iOS, and Android devices. The price differs based on which version you get. If you get the desktop version, that would be $80. As for the app, there are two versions, ArtRage for $2.99 USD and ArtRage Vita for $4.99 USD. Procreate's interface is minimalistic. It works well for some people and doesn't for others. But one thing for sure is it works very well for a portable device, especially when the display space is limited. Procreate has only one bar at the top, with a mini one on the left side. The bar at the top is where all the tools are. From left to right, we have Gallery that once clicked takes us back to the homepage of the software where you can find all your drawings. Next to that are a bunch of icons. A wrench icon where you have different actions pertaining to the canvas, such as exporting your artwork and so on and so forth. A magic wand icon with all the different effects. The two remaining icons on the left have selection and manipulation options. On the right are the brush, layer, color, and eraser options with the smudge tool. The sliders on the left can be used to change a brush's size and opacity. Just under the sliders, we have undo and redo buttons, and the middle is for the canvas. For a balanced comparison, we will be focusing on the iPad version of the interface. ArtRage has its toolbar at the bottom, with different icons for different purposes. On the far left, we have the brush icon, which pulls up a sidebar that contains all the different brushes. Once the sidebar is pulled, the brush icon turns into a percentage, which can be tapped and dragged to modify the brush size. On the far right, we have a color circle that prompts a color wheel when clicked. The toolbar has other panels, such as a panel for layers. It also has undo and redo buttons. The middle part is for the canvas. All in all, the interface in ArtRage is quite simple and minimalistic, and in comparison to the desktop version, it's adapted for a smaller, limited screen wonderfully, making for an interface that is comfortable to navigate and work in.
Before we continue, let me tell you about Domestika, a platform with hundreds of classes about animation, drawing, illustration, and several other creative fields. We've got you guys this course from Domestika about fantasy character design using Procreate. The course is beginner-friendly and anyone can join it. It is taught by Nicole, who will teach you how to explore the depths of your imagination to develop original character designs using Procreate. To acquire this Domestika course, simply click on the provided link to access the course page on Domestika's website. Alright, now back to the video.
Since Procreate is targeted mainly towards 2D illustrators, it has tools that serve that purpose very well. For instance, the software has a great brush engine with default varied brushes that are also customizable in every aspect you can think of, making it so that there's a concrete ground for making really creative brushes. This proves to be a wonderful feature, as Procreate is quite popular, so there are many artists making and sharing their brushes. So you can imagine the amount of versatility that comes with that. More on the painterly potential in Procreate is the number of effects that you can apply to your work, such as chromatic aberration. These effects can really give your paintings a pop. And speaking of painting, it's a known fact that the ease of color picking can help an artist achieve fantastic bleeding. Procreate implements this wonderfully using gestures. All you have to do is hold your finger on a spot and you have the color picked. In addition to these tools, we have many others, such as grids, guides, plenty of transformation and modification options, such as wrap and deform, with many ways to select an object, whether using a freehand approach or shapes. We can't forget the many types of color interfaces, from wheels to sliders and so forth. Procreate is an awesome app when it comes to 2D drawing and painting. If you're interested in making 2D animations or painting a 3D model, it also has tools and features for both with essentially the same workflow, making it really easy for you to dip your toes in both domains without having to worry about the overwhelming feeling that comes with discovering new software and their interfaces and workflow. Just like Procreate, ArtRage has a great brush engine, but it's very different from Procreate in its purpose and approach. The brushes that ArtRage has are all about mimicking real-life brushes. Even the customization options are all about mimicking a traditional feel. For instance, the oil brush has a slider called Thinner, which is supposed to determine how thick or thin the paint you are using is. If you're not familiar with traditional media, thinners are basically minerals that, just like the name indicates, thin out oil paint, which is naturally very thick. As you can see, ArtRage is really focused on a traditional feel when it comes to brushes. It's also worth mentioning that customizing a brush is a lot more limited in comparison to Procreate and the desktop version of this app, which is a lot more powerful than the app version. You're also very limited when it comes to the page size, mainly because the brush size in ArtRage doesn't go beyond a certain limit, making it so that if you create a huge canvas, you'll have a tiny brush that can't keep up with the size of the canvas. Another feature in the app is the ability to import references and paint over them to trace them. All in all, ArtRage is the perfect app for a traditional artist looking for a digital equivalent. It has both the tools that fit the purpose within enough of an easy interface to work with, and tools basic enough to get the hang of, especially as we said, if you are a traditional artist transitioning from traditional to digital. Procreate's learning curve is almost non-existent. The app has a great approach to their interface, making it both rich in tools and features, while also being minimalistic enough that it's easy to get used to and learn. The app is also so popular that you can find tutorials everywhere and in all formats, from YouTube to TikTok videos, and even an active subreddit with 198,000 users as of the writing of this. The developer also provides excellent and well-organized documentation of the app that is easy to follow and understand. So you're provided with everything you need to hit the ground running with Procreate. ArtRage is far from being as popular as Procreate. The community is a lot smaller with less resources to help. However, the app is intuitive and minimalistic in its interface, features, and tools that it can be really easy to get used to. The documentation of the app is certainly thorough, but lacks the organization and accessibility Procreate has. This is made worse by the many versions of the app, making it really hard to know what you are getting into. In this section, obviously, Procreate knocks ArtRage out of the park altogether. Procreate should be your first choice if you want to experience digital art with brushes that feel digital despite attempting to mimic traditional brushes, or if you want something that is equipped with many tools and features that actually focus on digital art. It goes without saying that if you want basic animation and 3D model painting features, you must go with Procreate. No questions asked. However, if your focus is trying to achieve a true traditional feel, ArtRage has to be chosen over Procreate here. ArtRage is tailor-made for traditional artists who want to try out digital art but still want it to feel as close to traditional media as possible. It lacks the many features that are native to digital art, such as grids or visual effects, but if your focus is a true traditional feel, we doubt you would need any of those anyways. So really, consider this. Do you want the usual digital art experience or an experience that is as close to traditional art as humanly possible? If the former, get Procreate. If the latter, get ArtRage. And that was that for our video. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Did we miss anything, or maybe you want to elaborate on something we mentioned? Whatever the case might be, let us know. And with that being said, thank you for watching as always, and see you next time.